Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special edition of Secrets of the Sire. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, on the Sire Studios digital network. That is SireDigital.com, YouTube.com/Secrets of the Sire, Facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, and Twitch.tv/Secrets of the Sire. However, for all those folks who are joining us today, we are live. That is right. We are doing things completely live, which I will show. Boom, we're live at Funny Business in Nyack, New York. Thank you very much to you guys. Give a round of applause to Funny Business. And to think they had no training before they came into this. It was fantastic. I am your host, Michael Dolce. Tonight, we are talking Avengers Endgame. Spoiler. If you haven't seen the movie, well, it's on you at this point, right? I would think so. I am joined, as always, by my co-host galore, Mr. the Lord of the Radio himself, Mr. Hassan Godwin. How you doing, sir?
Fine.
And we have a very special group as well, too. We have the lovely ladies from Geek Vibes Nation. We have Tia, right to my right here. And we have Kelly, right to her right as well, too. Give a round of applause to them. Before we begin, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, as Mike said, my name is Tia, and I am the head writer at Geek Vibes Nation, where we just kind of discuss everything from movies to TV, comic books, and everything in between.
Kelly?
Same thing. I'm Kelly. I'm a writer for Geek Vibes Nation and also do freelance writing on the side. So
Welcome. You've been previous guests as well, we are excited. All right, so there's this little movie that kind of came out, and no one's seen it. It's not going to make it. It's Hellboy. No, I'm just kidding. It's Avengers Endgame. I'm gonna open this up before we do anything else, and I'm gonna just sit there and say expectations change everything, don't they? Mm-hmm. When you have little expectations for something like, say, I don't know, Venom, it's a lot easier to go into a movie.
Oh my God, I really liked Venom.
No. It's a lot easier to go into a movie and come away with it feeling, well, it was either worth it or not, and not that big a deal. This had massive expectations going in. This had massive stakes, I guess, is for lack of a better term, in terms of the entire setup of 10 years of Marvel movies.
Stakes were very high.
Did they, or did they not, meet expectations? Tia, I'll start with you.
I'm going to say that they completely met my expectations. This is the culmination of, 22 movies, 10 years. I knew that it was going to be 3 hours. A lot of people were complaining about that, and I really didn't see the problem. To me, I'm like, make it 6 hours. Who cares? And I really thoroughly enjoyed every single moment, whether it was some downtime, whether it was action, really everything in between. I walked away thinking that it was a completely different movie from Avengers Infinity War, which was completely fine to me. I did not need it to be a carbon copy of Infinity War, and as something that is essentially wrapping up the storyline of many different characters, I thought it was a perfect ending.
Kelly?
I think it definitely had a different feel than Infinity War, but I think it's a testament to how in-depth and involved we've become with these characters that those 3 hours felt like they flew by. It didn't feel forced, and even though it was a different feel, the fact that we got a little bit more granular into some of the characters and resolved some of the outstanding issues a few of those characters had, it made it very interesting and engaging and able to keep through those 3 hours without feeling like, God, when is this going to end? So I think it definitely met expectations.
But before I get Hassan's overall impression, I got to tell you, it was completely psychosomatic. Now, my dad is here. And he watches. We watch all the movies together, which is awesome, and it's a great bonding experience. I had this thought that I was gonna have to pee at every point in the movie. And I ended up getting out of there 3 times. I'm like, well, I can't miss this. I can't miss. Sorry, I'm gonna jump out right now. I can't miss this. It was one of those things where it's like the expectation of me having to pee completely made me go to the bathroom
I have
3
to say
separate
I
times.
fell into that as well.
Yeah.
And I ran out and ran back in like I was in a
I
track
did not
meet.
take any sort of break at all. I did my business beforehand, and I completely sat down, and I was fine. So
That's the segue for you, Hassan.
You want me to follow the P comment?
That's exactly what I want you to do.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have anything to drink. 'Cause I was really smart, you know. It came with a complimentary soda, but I wasn't going to go to the concession stand because it was 670 people there, and I didn't want to. There was a danger of having to socialize. So,
that's
you know,
true.
Of course, I avoid that.
So this is terrifying for you, right?
You have no idea. But
It's a good
anyway,
thing no one took the front row seats. It's like church. Everyone went to the back.
they're staring right at me. They're staring through my soul.
I just pretend I'm in my underwear, or
But
you're
they
in my
did.
underwear.
The problem is,
yeah.
I'm ignoring that. The problem is they gave me a complimentary popcorn, so I really wish I had a soda because there was 3 hours of cottonmouth while watching this really epic but tremendously flawed movie.
Yeah.
That managed to entertain me, and I was happy about it. I didn't walk out upset by anything, but wow, they just rewrote a lot of laws in order to make that film work.
They did.
So, show of hands for everybody. Everyone's seen it except for that guy, because I know he didn't see it. This is killing him right now.
I don't know.
Show of hands. Everyone saw it.
Oh.
Well, prepare to be
Spoiler
spoiled.
This is our spoiler moment right here.
Might be a good time for you to get something to eat.
Are we saying? Well, don't. We have 7 fans.
There's only one person.
We don't want to lose any of those 7 fans. Show of hands. Yay or nay? Yay
For what?
for the movie.
No, I'm gonna say yay.
You're gonna say yay. And how many nays out there? Yeah. My dad and I are actually we're actually in sync on this one. I'm not going to give it a nay. We did a stream. We did a stream on Game of Thrones recently, and we were talking about how we thoroughly enjoyed the episode, but there were so many questions, like so many dubious choices to it that I just couldn't understand. Why 5 years later? That's my first question. Why not 1 year later? Like, what is the purpose of now? We were actually kind of joking about this. Well, I know we'll play it. We'll get it. We were joking about this though. That Peter Parker's graduating class must have all been wiped out because they're all going to be back for this movie coming up in 2 months. How does that exactly work? Why couldn't you do? You can have the exact same Iron Man story. If you do it 1 year later and it's an infant or Pepper's pregnant,
Yeah, but then you wouldn't get I Love You 3000.
You wouldn't get that, right,
No.
Which wouldn't sell t-shirts.
Hashtag I Love You 3000.
Yeah.
Well, so Mike, not to cut in or anything.
No, please do.
but I
Shots
feel
fired.
no. Well, I have,
Please do.
I have now,
Your camera's been cut off.
I've now
Microphone muted.
I have
You're
now
done.
accepted that Mike and I are not going to be on the same page with a lot of things because when we did the Punisher season 2 review, we were duking it out. But to me, the 5 years made sense because you had to have it where these people have lived so long without their loved ones, with the events of the snap, to kind of have people maybe think that, we're never going to get anyone back. Like, after a year, you kind of still have hope. After 5 years, that's it. Probably the civilians, not, Captain America and Black Widow excluded. All the civilians thought this is it. So to me, that having that long 5 years kind of made sense. It really didn't bother me. I was just like, wow, that's a long time to deal with questions.
But they didn't deal with it. That was the thing that was even more remarkable, right?
they
In
had the
5 years,
little,
they're
like,
still exactly
group,
where they were, though.
No, they weren't. They were emotionally kind of rattled. They were messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, Black Widow turned into an alcoholic. Hey, enough of that.
Who did what?
I don't know. Someone beeped.
That's just in general.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to get up.
Beeping. Well, if
You
it happens
can't,
again.
because you're lodged in there.
No,
That's
I
kind of
know.
what we did. We
I'll
did that on
move.
purpose. It was a good move.
Also, so Black Widow was, and you had to get. What about Hawkeye? What about Ronin? Like, you wouldn't have gotten that incredible character
Agreed.
change.
Yes. You wouldn't have gotten that. Well, you still could have gotten that within a year, though.
A year later, 1 year later, the problem with Infinity War, or the big thing about Infinity War, is that they lost. And it was the first time that they really lost. The movie ended with the heroes losing. If you do it a year later and you just reverse everything a year later, that kind of diminishes the loss, right? That diminishes that entire
Not
movie.
really. I mean, you had this one
it
sequence.
does.
You had this one sequence in
does.
Infinity War
You're done.
where Robert
You're
Downey
done.
Jr. is saying, like, well, in 2018, because that's when the movie came out. He said, well, 6 years ago, I've had Thanos in my head for 6 years. In 6 years, I mean, 1 year later, you get us to 2019. I mean, you chronologically put us in place. Now, again, we don't know what's coming up next in Phase 4 of Marvel outside of what the Spider-Man movie comes out, but That being said, why do that? Why do that? Kelly's been
we just told
talking
you.
all over us. So maybe let's let her get one more word in.
Well, no, I agree. I think the 5-year mark, especially for Thor's character, I mean, showing the whole implications of the mental repercussions and bringing that into the storyline and how much, like, depression and anxiety has infiltrated these characters, and we've never seen that side of them before. I mean, they've always been these strong, powerful beings, and now they're fighting a force that they can't beat. So it's like, take away the muscle, what do you got? So I think that aspect and having that time frame really let the build up of what was going on emotionally with the characters.
His arc was probably the most satisfying and the best complete story arc of the entire movie was Thor. Amazingly enough, like just having him, having the physical effects, and then meeting his mother again. Spoilers. Meeting his mother halfway through and coming out on the other end of that. I think his arc was probably the most satisfying for me, anyway. Hassan, is that what a good? I'm gonna chalk that in a good column. I'm gonna chalk that into the good column. We have another good for the movie. No. Yes.
I didn't go to the bathroom, so that was a good for me. I found the whole movie to be good. I found some of the rules that they broke to be kind of
go into
vexing.
Go into that too, because there were so many ways you could have done this.
Yeah.
Without
the
bringing
time
in...
travel thing. I mean, they did explain it, and they did a half-ass way of explaining it. Whatever. By just saying that it's not really their future or past that they're altering. It's an offshoot future, past, whatever time. Anytime you go into the past and alter it, you just created another timeline.
Right. But
you can't change your own future, which doesn't really work with Hollywood time travel. But I mean, that is an actual temporal theory that they were using. But this is the first time they've done time travel in the MCU, so for them to just decide that those rules don't work anymore just to make that movie work is kind of...
There was something unsatisfying, too, for me, that the Thanos they beat wasn't the Thanos that beat them. I mean, I know he's the Thanos in that sense, but he hadn't actually accomplished everything he had accomplished. I was almost hoping by the end that he would be...
Yeah, but that was catharsis again, because then they get to correct a wrong that they didn't correct in the first movie.
Yeah.
So they technically got a chance to fight that battle all over again.
In a sense.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Well, no, it actually, literally fought that battle all over again.
Well, this Thanos was different because he hadn't gone through the journey that he had gone through. He hadn't killed his daughter. So the Thanos that they had ended up killing in the beginning of the movie, he was kind of downtrodden. He was broken. It wouldn't have been as satisfying. This Thanos was still in, like,
in his prime.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, I had no problem with the fact because they got to kill him twice technically, and good. I am not a Thanos apologist at all. There are so many people who are, and I'm like, kill him, kill him all
mostly
over.
people sitting through traffic. They're all on Thanos' side.
Exactly.
I wish I could snap my fingers and go home.
Too many people in this earth. It's like Dwight from The Office, where he's like, we just need another plague, and Thanos is like, that's what we need, exactly. So, that was my...
What's in your good column? What's in your good?
Oh my god, there were so many good in my column.
No bathroom.
No. Again, that didn't bother me. I was good. I didn't even go to the bathroom until I got home that night, like, from the train. I was fine. But, yeah, I mean, first of all, I absolutely loved when... Spoilers, again, by the way, guys, for
at this
that
point,
person over there. I absolutely love when they went back to 2012 for the first Avengers movie. I thought that was great. I absolutely loved the new kind of like Captain America, essentially. He's a little more jaded, a little more edgier. I love when he's fighting himself and like the old ones. Like, I could do this all day. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like, that's your line. Fine. That was amazing to me. Cap wielding Mjolnir was the best. I literally just fell into my seat at that point. I thought it was so cool. Thor, even though he's going through his depression, going through everything that he's going through, during the final battle, he was still able to wield both and fight against Thanos. Everything. The end scene with everyone coming back, where Sam's like Cap on your left, and
that was
all the portals start
best
opening, and
Yeah.
for me.
my theater went absolutely nuts during that.
Yeah.
And you just see everyone. I love the fact that everyone was fighting in their own style, and it still felt like they had enough care
Yeah.
taken with them, and it wasn't just I don't know, you could see everyone's personality through
You know,
it.
ultimately, that's my big good, right?
Yeah.
Is the communal experience this. We're literally eating dinner next door, and they're having questions about who's stronger, Thanos or... And then actually, no, is Thanos the strongest person in the Marvel Universe? Now, I, of course, corrected them and told them it was Galactus, and that's, just me setting it straight. But, the communal experience of going to Avengers Endgame in the theater, seeing it with a group of people. I mean, Dad and I were at Tuesday, 9 a.m.
Wow.
Nearly packed house, right? I mean, it's amazing just the impact that it's had. So to me, that's the overarching good. There was a lot of feel-good moments, obviously. There was a lot of, like, hitting, touching the nerves. And so, ultimately, I was
Someone
pretty...
tried to touch your nerves while you were in the... I mean,
It was
dude,
a-
honestly, what
It
kind of
was
theater?
that kind of theater. Oh, hi, Mom. So no, ultimately, I thought that was pretty good. Big question marks that I had, though, too. Did Cap just go and undo everything at the end? Again, spoiler, sorry, guys. Really bizarre. Now, we actually do have answers from the director, and I'll get into what they said about some of the bigger
Oh,
questions
so now you
a
have
little
the
bit
actual
later.
answer, and you want us to get the answer wrong so that you can tell us what the right answer
And
is?
here's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
You're
my
just setting
style
us
well.
up. You're just setting us up for a fall.
that's my whole. That's the whole show.
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
just doing that.
Yeah, I'm exposing it. now.
Pretty much. But no, seriously, I walked out of there thinking to myself, everything was really good up until that point. I like that Cap got his happy ending.
Yeah.
It's that kind of theater. No, but it was also the fact that I liked that, it was there, but then I was confused. I was very confused at the end. I'm sitting there going, why didn't Hulk tell him, now just drop the stuff back and don't do anything because you'll ruin everything? And then we see him, he's old, and it's like, well,
I think
it's
his
very
his point
unheroic
was
of
that
Cap to do that.
You'll establish another alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
So he was just saying, for the sake of not rupturing the timeline any more than it is, just drop everything off. But he intentionally wanted another timeline, right? Where he was happy.
Yeah.
So he did it on purpose.
Yeah, well, obviously he did it on purpose. But
Well,
it
I
was
know.
just-
I mean, I'm saying, but I don't think it ruined anything, right? Because you can't change your future or your past.
Right.
So he can't change anything that he's already done. So now he just decided to make a different future for himself in the past.
I guess.
I have a question for you. So at the end, when he's all old, and by the way, looking very much like Joe Biden, can we say that?
He was Biden.
Impeccable
He was
makeup
Biden.
there.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Biden. Like. That was Joe Biden. Actually.
I believe.
Spoiler cameo.
Stand-in.
Spoiler cameo.
When he passes the torch, the shield, to Sam Wilson, I liked it personally. I thought that he was very deserving of it, but I saw a lot of people online thought that it should have been Bucky. What are your opinions? Would you have rathered Sam or Bucky take it?
But well, to be honest with you, both have carried the shield in
Which,
the comics.
yes.
So to me, it didn't matter. That's
Right.
you have either choice. Either choice is applicable and acceptable.
It could be Bucky after Sam.
Yeah.
Because Bucky has to.
He has
Bucky
some
is-
stuff to deal
Yeah,
with
he's
still.
got a little bit of baggage that he's still got to clean up.
Yeah.
Because he just
Exactly.
came off of being Winter Soldier.
And Sam's character is as close to Captain America in terms of just being pure of heart and
Right.
noble. Whereas what Hassan was saying with Winter Soldier, I mean, there's a lot
There's a
he's
little-
got to.
Yeah.
The Russian interference in the election. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff he's got to deal with there. Winter Soldier's
It's all Bucky.
Winter Soldier stuff. All right. Before we get to Kelly's question, because I know she had one and she wanted to ask, let's open up to audience questions / comments. Anybody? I know Keith, Brett. What do we got?
I got a couple. Where should I start? No. That whole thing about with Falcon, getting the torch back. I was just mentioning to Chris. There's no super soldier serum though, so it's like, they should have given
Agreed.
it to Winter Soldier if anything, but he's more like Nomad anyway.
But we've kind of already established in the Marvel universe though that as long as you have the hero shield,
Yeah.
Black Widow is really highly trained. Hawkeye's really highly trained.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently you can highly train getting hit by cars, getting hit by aliens, getting thrown from planes, buses. It doesn't matter. So in that regard, they've set up their own history. If they want you to be the hero, you get to be the hero.
Maybe a hit of the super soldier serum was in the shield. It was like taped. It was duct taped to the shield. So when he handed it
Particles
to
behind
yeah,
Put your hand
Yeah, and it's with a little note that says "Don't tell anyone." So that's why Sam was like, "Oh." All right.
And I also mentioned something to Chris about the what I've been hearing a lot about lately is the Easter egg on the activity underneath Wakanda, which is this whole earthquake under Wakanda, because Quay mentions there's been an activity going on underneath, so everybody's speculating something with the ocean.
What with Namor?
Namor.
That's just cool. I mean, right? Those are
It
just
would be
little. Those are
awesome,
just like little tidbits
But
that.
I think after Aquaman they're not even going to go.
Oh, I think they would do it.
I think they definitely would.
They're not even gonna touch that.
That's why they're.
Well, no, wasn't in Winter
think
Soldier
so?
there was
Man,
a little
They're
tidbit
gonna,
about
watch us do a
in
real
the ocean representing Namor?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it a couple times. A couple
Yeah.
of shots on the screen.
I think it would be just like the MCU to just make a $1 billion Namor movie. Like, whoops.
They're like, we're gonna take the
We
one
did this by
successful
accident.
DC film and we're gonna squish it.
Well, I saw something that someone was asking if they were teasing Captain Britain in it. In the scene when Steve was kind of looking at Peggy and someone saw the closed captioning and she was saying, what's his name, Braddock or something?
She says something about Agent Braddock.
Braddock, and he, we haven't seen him in a while.
So cool.
And so people are like, are we going to see Captain Britain? So
That would also be so MCU to bring the X-Men in and be Captain Britain be the first guy that they do a movie around out of
You
all the
never know.
characters.
Yeah.
You know,
You
forget
never
That would
Wolverine.
lead to the X-Men, because isn't...
He's Excalibur.
He's
He's
Psylocke.
Excalibur.
True, but he's
he's
Psylocke's
Psylocke's brother.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can bring,
Oh yeah, no, you
there's
can,
a couple
absolutely
of X-Men
can.
in there.
You absolutely can, which is good. Anybody else? Who else has got any just overall feedback?
I was just thinking that the whole 5-year arc could also be a way to work Ant-Man's daughter into an older age to get her involved as well.
I have a question for you because this was something brought up,
You're gonna
right?
ask the audience questions.
I'm so sorry. Can I ask the audience questions? I'm so sorry. My bad.
We don't know what's going. We don't know what's going on.
No, someone was saying that it was a little unrealistic that Ant-Man's daughter was as old as she was. I know that one of the people on my panel was saying that she looked to be about 18 or something. I disagreed. I thought that she could still have been young enough for that 5
I think
years.
like 14, something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
what I thought.
14. That's what
It was
I thought.
Juwan. He was like, she
Of
looks
course.
18. I was like, no, she definitely does not.
She doesn't look 18.
No, she looked 14. She was fine.
Yeah.
Listen, if you don't have to age Agent Carter, then then we can inappropriately age Ant-Man's daughter.
You're stuck on the Agent Carter thing.
I am. It really is.
For anybody that does not know, because they weren't here before we went live, what is the Agent Carter thing that upset you?
So they go back and Captain
70s,
America and Iron Man go back in
1971.
time to the 70s, and Agent Carter is the same age as the last time we saw her in 1940.
Yeah, she had a little gray. She looked
She had
old.
wings.
Yeah, they put a couple out great.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
She just aged really
Yeah,
well, right?
she looks good
Yeah.
30
The best
years
ever.
after her prime. Yeah,
30 years after her prime is pretty
yeah,
good.
because
went
he
from
was in the
25
40s,
to
1945,
60.
1940, whatever, to
Maybe she had some
1971.
super soldier serum. You never know.
I just think
Yes, handing it out like shot glasses.
They hit the nail on the head with this one.
So can I be the bad guy in the room? Because I
Here we go.
enjoy this.
Again?
I enjoy this.
You did this on the Punisher review, and now you're gonna do it here. Let's hear it.
The women power scene.
We told you weren't allowed to bring that up.
Was there anything in that I'm asking both you ladies? That's actually I was really excited about this because
you had women?
Usually it's just Hassan. What were your thoughts on that scene?
I'm gonna let Kelly go first here. So
She's like, I'm gonna pass the torch to being.
No, there's been a lot of debate on the internet about this topic, and I think bringing it to a negative light and saying that it's cheesy is then just underplaying what could be a very empowering moment, and to lift those characters up and say this is badass, this is them coming together. So when I watched it, as it was playing out, my thoughts weren't, roll my eyes, this is cheesy. I was like, hell yeah, get these girls together and let's do this. So to me, I saw it in a positive light, but a lot of people are making a case for it being, very forced and very overdone and not a natural
Hassan loves
occurring scene.
these conversations.
He's very
Don't
quiet.
get it wrong.
I don't got it wrong. Trust me. everything, the whole movie was were forced moments. So
Yeah.
like, how can you get mad at one, like at one particular facet of it and say, well, that's too much? Where
Because
you
it
have,
involved women,
no, of
and
course,
a lot of fanboys
when you
online
snap
didn't like
back
that.
half the population, and then they're all in gear, and they're all, they're
Yeah.
all shaved and showered and ready for battle, and they're ready to come through a portal and go right into battle without any battle plan. That's not a moment. That's not a setup for a hero moment. Huh?
Hi, everyone. This is Michael Dolce, host of the Secrets of the Sire review. I gotta be honest with you, I actually agree with you, and that's usually bad for the show. All right, when we come back, the biggest questions...
I could just flip the table over.
No,
You might have to.
my
You
drink.
might have to.
Just grab it. I'll let you know.
All right, let me know beforehand.
When we come back, the biggest questions from the movie answered by the directors themselves.
So what do they need us for?
Hi, everyone. This is Michael Dolce, host of the Secrets of the Sire radio show and podcast, and welcome to our Patreon launch event. To date, we've interviewed actor Kevin Bacon and rocker Chris Cornell. We spent a wacky week with a real housewife and played Love It or Shove It with a comic book icon. We've debated which TV shows everyone should be watching and channeled our inner force comparing Rogue One to The Force Awakens. And that's just the beginning. Become an executive producer and get an exclusive feed inside our studio before and while we air. Become a program director and receive our exclusive show outline with insider details on topics and guests hours before we go live. Or just be a fan, and for $0.25 a broadcast, we'll sing your praises on the interwebs every week. So if you like pop culture, movies, TV shows, and graphic novels, this is the Patreon page for you.
He's had 5 years.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, streaming live on youtube.com/Secrets of the Sire. Please go and subscribe to our channel. It helps us out, and it costs you nothing.
Don't beg. That's just
It's not begging.
It's a form of begging.
I'm carefully instructing.
It's a
With
call
my,
to action.
With my, yes,
It's
it is a call to action. That's exactly the way to do it. I am, again, Mike Dolce, joined by Tia and Kelly Kern. Yeah, I'm not going to get your
No,
last name.
Kantrowitz.
Kantrowitz, that was close,
Yeah.
though. And
No,
Hassan
it
Godwin.
was not close. But it's okay.
You're supposed to humor the host.
No, no, don't.
Yeah, it actually
Go
gets
right
us
to
in
his
trouble.
head.
All right, we were talking Avengers Endgame. We were talking the biggest questions left unanswered. We actually got a few of them answered. So this is from BGR.com. Apparently, right after the film was done, the directors went on a Reddit-like site in China and answered the burning questions. So here are some of the burning questions
They cater to the Chinese.
they did
didn't
cater to
tell
the
me very
Chinese. I know.
clearly.
I can't make this up. Or maybe they did. Who knows? So this has been the Russos talked to Chinese language site QQ, answering several questions related to Endgame. A Redditor then translated all these questions and answers. Captain America. What happens to Captain America at the end isn't clarified adequately on screen. Did he live in the MCU timeline or created one when he met Peggy in the past? So the question was, Peggy Carter was probably already married and in her mid-40s in 1970. In that case, what year was it that Captain America went back to dance with her? Their answer is, we can't answer
Bow
it.
down to China.
We
That was their
can't answer it. This is
Every
a story
answer
that
was bow down to
happened.
China.
This is a story that happened in an alternate reality. Maybe it will be revealed in the future. Did Captain America's
out.
actions
Yeah.
affect the
It's a
timeline?
fake out.
Does that mean there is a time where two Captain Americas existed in the same universe? Their answer, to me, Captain America's action in the end wasn't the fact that he wanted to change anything. It's more like he has made a choice. He chose to go back to past and live with the one he loved for the rest of his life. The time travel in this movie created an alternate reality. He lived a completely different life in that world. It's what you explained, but it still doesn't make sense. Why is he back in that reality then
Yeah,
as
if
an
it
old
was
man?
an alternate reality, how did he come back
Exactly.
to the MCU
That's the only
reality?
thing that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's when he allowed himself to come back with the device, and then he somehow ran over and sat down on the.
Very slowly too. It's like how did they miss that?
Yeah,
How did
yeah.
they miss that guy?
I
I
don't
mean, Joe Biden's not very fast,
Yeah.
so I'm not exactly sure how the heck he got over there. Does that even make sense? I
No,
don't
it
know.
doesn't make any
No.
sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't
All
make
right.
any sense.
Endgame's plot, is it a parallel universe or a closed time loop? Nope, not a time loop. Both Ancient One and Hulk were right. You can't change the future by simply going back to the past. It is simply, it's possible to create a different alternate future. It's not butterfly effect. Every decision you made in the past could potentially create a new timeline. For example, the old Cap at the end of the movie, he lived his married life in a different universe from the main one. He had to make another jump back to the main universe at the end to give this shit. Yeah, Keith?
What?
Yeah. This is coming straight from the director, by the way.
Did he still have pin particles?
Yeah,
Yes.
he still had
Amazingly
the
enough.
That's what I said.
And
He
did
did, and they always
Thanos and
said
his
that
guys
it's
have them to come to the
Yeah.
future too?
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying. He had the particles.
Co-owner
and then
Chris, the owner of the store, is like,
He hopped over to the.
And jumped at the
bench.
perfect time to the bench.
Exactly. Exactly.
I wasn't confused
You
before
never knew
this.
the-
I was just
you're,
happily
just,
watching
you're like,
it.
oh, he made it.
So-
I'm
the
so I don't
time
like-
travel
I don't
rules were
like
totally
question
broken.
things like that because I'm like, it's a universe where people are flying.
No,
and
I hate
stuff
that
Oh,
like
argument.
can't
No,
do that.
no. I hate
Can't
that
do
argument.
that.
I hate that
Can't
argument.
pop out
I
like
just
that.
kind of like,
Indiana Jones gets ruined. You hear everything like, oh well, yeah, that's wrong. That's totally wrong. Oh, damn.
I'm
Oh,
telling
wait,
you.
Not everything could be
There's actually a picture of him holding on to the periscope, so that answers that question. And they
Deleted
cut that
scene.
scene. Yeah, they cut that scene out. And
Here's
that was
an-
the only question from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Here's another one too from this movie, from Avengers Endgame, that actually got me. First of all, again, spoilers. If anybody hasn't seen the movie,
you've been warned.
everyone's obviously talking about the death of Tony Stark. The bigger death to me was Black Widow. That came out of nowhere and also kind of got shrugged over at the end.
Yeah, like no one's talking about
She
it.
got
no
nothing.
emotion to that one at all.
Yeah, no, they're just like, oh man, I miss her.
They were sad.
All right, they're serving brie now at the
Yeah,
funeral
there
for
was a
Tony
bigger-
Stark. I'm gonna go get a piece, you know?
There was-
Like,
there was-
like,
Hulk threw
Yeah,
a
Hulk
bench.
was
Everyone
upset.
else is like, ah.
yeah.
Captain America cried. There was
There was
tear.
a bigger reaction to Gamora getting murdered in the same
Right.
way. You
Right.
know? That actually had consequences on the story because Star-Lord flipped out and then cost everybody.
Oh, I hate that
Their
argument.
souls.
Stop.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he did flip out. That's. I
He
mean,
did.
it's.
He
I don't
ruined it
blame
the
him.
First time.
I don't blame him, but he did kind of screw the pooch on that one.
So here's a Black Widow question. Can you get the soul you sacrificed? Boy, the Chinese translation is terrible. Can you get the soul you
bow down to
sacrificed for the Soul Stone back when you return it? No, the process is irreversible.
No backsies.
Even if you have returned it to its original location, you wouldn't be able to get that person back. In fact, it's not really returning the stone, more like put it back properly.
Isn't that what we're doing?
The tribute soul for the Soul
I
Stone
did.
will forever be sealed in that place.
And how did Gamora come back?
She didn't
No,
come
she
back. That
was
was
from
the
the
past
past.
version.
This, in turn, means that Gamora we knew
Yeah, she's
died
dead.
for good back in Infinity War. But this
Which
other Gamora is okay, and
Did anybody-
she's okay.
Did anybody bring Red Skull like a sandwich or something? It's like,
Yeah.
when you go back, it's like, thanks for the stone. Does anybody have a Coke? I'm wasting away over here. Like, I'm floating.
I've
That's how-
seen this Coke come to me many times in the past by many people.
Yeah, it's like my legs are gone. Like, everybody help me out. Put in the good word for me. I want out of this prison.
What I was actually thinking was going to happen when Cap didn't come back was I thought Black Widow was going to come back in his place. And I thought we were going to lose both Cap and Iron Man. And I thought that would have been a very noble and heroic. Like, he would have actually swapped out for her.
That would make sense considering she has her own movie coming out.
That was the other thing, too. I was thinking, I'm like, how's that going to work? I'm not
Well, 'cause
exactly
it's gonna
sure.
be a prequel.
It's
It's going to be about the
Yeah, I
second
know.
Black Widow and everything
Right.
that's going to deal with.
It's going to be in
This
the
Black
alternate
Widow is gonna be
reality
the
that
past,
Joe
but
Biden
she's
lived in,
gonna be-
and that's where we're going to deal with that.
Anything could happen there.
You know, it's
I
it's
don't
crazy
think
there.
It's going to be her, like present day.
Yeah, she's gone. I think she's out of there. Because you have to remember that every sacrifice you make, you're gonna if you go back to the next movie and just reverse it, then you just made the movie useless.
Well, but
in
didn't
its
they
own
open
way.
the door for all of that to happen?
Haven't you
No,
read
they're alternate-
comics for
Hey, you're in the audience, buddy. Okay,
rightly so, rightly
okay. I'll talk to you after. You're right though. Unfortunately, but
All right, last
no
question.
death is real. No death is sustained.
Why did Iron Man have to snap Thanos away and not someone else? Why was Iron Man the only one to do the final snap? Couldn't people like Thor, Star-Lord, or Captain Marvel, whom all previously have handled the power of the Infinity Stones, done it instead? Apparently, Thor in this movie couldn't do it, is what they said. Only Hulk was strong enough to do the snap without dying. We're still not sure whether Captain Marvel can also withstand all the power of the Infinity Stones at once. The reason we chose to let Iron Man do it in the end was because he was the closest one to Thanos. In all the futures Doctor Strange foresaw, Iron Man was the only one who could get close to Thanos and do the snap. People usually think the death of a hero is a horrible tragedy. We think this is different.
Yeah, because it made them a ton of money.
Yeah,
But
that's really...
the rest of us are still kind of heartbroken
Well,
about.
I was sad, but I thought that it was kind of like a perfect ending, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
you started the MCU with
Yes,
Iron Man. You kind
All
of
day long,
end this
he was making that
Infinity
money.
Saga
Yeah.
with him. I thought it, I
Yeah, he's been having that
wasn't-
nightmare since Age of Ultron. You know,
Yeah.
so it makes most sense to let him be the one to do it.
Yeah.
And he had his own
saved-
little, Iron Man gauntlet. Because he
Yeah.
could just.
He had his moment. He said that he was Iron Man and he saved the universe.
Yeah,
I thought
it
it
was
was
a good
like he
moment.
died a hero, and everyone will remember because that's his story.
Yeah, and Hulk was already half dead, so he couldn't
Oh
do
yeah,
it
he was
again.
burnt up.
Yeah.
There's no way he was going to be able to do it again.
All right. Before we go to break, we're going to do two things. One, we're going to have folks hand out, Brian, behind you, is a set of pens and some slips of paper. You guys can pair up, team up, do whatever you want to do.
Oh boy.
We're going to be doing some Avengers trivia. But before we do, Kelly, you had a question you wanted to propose to everyone here.
I did. So I heard that, there was no ending clip as we're used to. But then I saw all these things coming out about an audio stinger
Yes.
that came at the end with the logo.
Yeah.
Possibly being people surmising that it was Tony Stark originally hammering the metal armor on his Iron Man suit. So I wanted to know if you guys stuck around to hear that and if you think that's totally off the board or what your theories were with that.
You want to go?
I stuck around. I heard it. I only know that's what it is because that's what everyone is saying. So I don't know if that is actually that's actually what it's supposed to be, because it comes with no visual and it comes with no verbiage or anything like that. But yeah, it seems to be the consensus that that's him in the cave in the first movie, hammering the first Iron Man suit together. So it's a fitting end to the.
I had to go to the bathroom. I got the
first
hell out
three
of
phases.
it. It's really just one of them.
Yeah,
I had to go.
I was too busy celebrating my victory over my bladder for 3.5 hours,
Well,
and
they
so
had-
I didn't really hear anything. At the
They
end of
had
the
told us that there was no end credit scene before we walked
you guys
in. They
just
were
got
like,
up and-
they were like, just to let you know.
Yeah.
And there was some like I kind of stuck around. I saw where they had everyone's like
Signatures, yeah.
and then I was like, and like a lot of people started leaving. I'm like, well, I also don't want to be the idiot who's kind of just sitting here and then there's like
Please,
nothing.
MC,
Oh.
Please. So I just kind of like got up and left. And I had heard rumors prior to that there really wasn't any.
I trusted no one, so I just stayed. In fact, I was instructed
Introducing
by
the
several friends
mainstream
to make sure that there is no end scene so that they don't have to stay. So I had to report to several people, so I was required to be there until
Good man.
until the cleanup crew threw me out of there. They're like, sir,
There's no end credit.
yeah, it's over. I'm like, I'm still waiting. It's like the
been
lights
3
are on.
hours.
yeah.
The movie's showing again.
Yeah,
At that point, you're like,
Please go.
You
I was like,
That's
there's a whole 3-hour end scene right after the movie.
You don't want to be the person that all those memes are about, like, oh, it's been 10 years of Marvel
Yeah.
movies and people still get up, and it's like, now I'm the person who gets up.
yeah, I'm just old. All right, when we come back, Avengers Endgame trivia. All right, does everyone have a sheet of paper? Do
Introducing
we have
the
any extra sheets of paper
mainstream,
by chance?
created by Michael Dolce,
Okay, yes,
Talent
please bring
Caldwell,
those to the
Tony
front so
Moy,
the
and
ladies can
Darren
also participate.
Sanchez.
You guys
Tells
can be
the
a team,
story
you
of
can
an
be a team of
interdimensional
your own, it
police
doesn't
force
matter.
that
Just write
releases
your team name
alternate
on the top.
realities, keeps bad guys from other worlds from getting into ours. Issue 5 in stores now. Order it at your local
Son,
comic
you
book
can be your own
store
team,
or
I
go to
guess. Island of One.
mikebooks.com/store.
At the end,
You're playing.
Wait, are we sharing one?
You're playing.
They're giving prizes out.
we are giving
What are the
prizes.
prizes? Because that's going to spark my motivation.
Forward in the future, right?
Yeah.
We are back!
Son of a.
Live from Funny Business. Our commercials are very small. We like to try to retain our audience. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture. every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, SireDigital.com, YouTube.com/Secrets of the Sire. Please go subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook. All kinds of awesome things. All right. I spent a great deal of time on this, and I'm very proud of having done so. But this is some of my favorite things to do, which is to perplex people and mostly just get our wonderful guests to think long and hard about Avengers Endgame trivia. Does everyone have a team? Or you are your own team? That's okay.
He's his own team.
All right. 6 stones, 6 questions. Question number 1. Oh, it is A? No, it's not A. What movie did Thanos first appear in? We're going to give everyone 30 seconds. Don't shout out any answers. We're going to write it down. We're going to hand it in at the end. We're going to pick a winner, a winning team. All right? So what movie did Thanos first appear in? We're going to count down. Anybody else? All right. Question number 2. Aside from Stan Lee, which actor has appeared in the most MCU films? Aside from Stan Lee, which actor has appeared in the most MCU films? I love dead air for the podcast.
Yeah, you're burning it, man. You're burning
Trying to
time.
hide your answers.
Yeah, I know.
Question number 3.
What?
What does the acronym SHIELD stand for? This one I thought was a pretty good one because I'm always a fan of stumping people. What does the acronym SHIELD stand for? Got to write this out. In the dead air time, I will tell you all about our show. We do this every Wednesday night. We actually do it live, and we do a really good job of just talking about all the fun stuff that you like to talk about. Hassan and I both do. And you can catch us on Facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. See? No dead air.
Catch us, but you can't hold us.
Oh. Can't hold me?
It's funny because of the chest.
Nobody can hold us.
Question number 4. I will go through the questions one more time after we're done. And you guys will have a chance during the commercial break as well to do it because we're going to go spin the racks next. Question number 4. What did the Avengers eat after the Battle of New York in the Avengers? See, I like to sprinkle in some tough ones
I don't know how to spell this.
and some easy ones.
You don't have to spell it right. You just have to
Mike,
say it
if we
right.
get the spelling wrong, because it's
The
still
spelling-
That's
counts.
definitely
Spelling is
wrong.
essential.
I will literally tell you the spelling only matters on question 6.
Okay.
Spelling counts.
No, he said it doesn't.
I'm changing the rules.
Last question also.
Yeah,
You
so-
don't know how to spell shield. You got a problem.
That's a completely different problem that does not affect the answer, theoretically speaking. All right, question number 5. Name the 6 Infinity Stones, and for bonus points, what color are they? Stone and color.
Oh, come on. Let's not take like a week.
Stone and
Because I would mix them up between the comics and the movies.
He'd mix them up with
in the MCU. In the
Related.
MCU, name the 6 Infinity Stones in the MCU. While you guys are doing that, we've got awesome swag we're going to give out because it's a nice live event. I mean, we gave out beer too, so that was pretty cool. But we have these awesome little gripper, U-Flip. Go to u-flip.com. They're actually really great. They do custom cell phone backings. Very awesome. They got a Sire one, so we're going to give that out to some folks. I use it, and it actually is pretty awesome. They're really great. So, and we also have some battery chargers as well, too. Some portable battery chargers. This is for MBD Studios, Inc.com. They're awesome. They do web development. I know the guy personally. So, portable battery chargers. We're giving out good swag. All right, name the 6 Infinity Stones in the
That's all I got.
MCU and bonus points. What color are they? All right, last question on the docket. Correctly spell the name of Thor's hammer. Mjolnir. Mjolnir.
I can do it.
So many
If he
times
can
in
do
that
it.
article.
That's it, right?
I forgot to mention no cell phones. Don't cheat, because if you cheat,
No, I think
you just
they're
win
letter
being a big
off.
You're gonna
fat
tell
cheater.
him not to cheat at question
Thanos will
6?
snap you out of existence.
I just figured that was a
Thanos is
given.
Dead. Spoiler.
If you cheat, you get the satisfaction
Twice.
of being
He died
a
twice.
big fat cheater. All right, we'll go through the questions one more time, and then we'll go to commercial break.
Yes, burn that top.
Question 1, what movie did Thanos first appear in? Question 2, aside from Stan Lee, which actor has appeared in the most MCU films?
Billy D. Williams.
Question 3, who looks fantastic for 82.
Yes.
I thought he was 70.
Yes, that's
I
what
thought
I
he
was
was
telling
70,
you.
and then I was
And
like, well,
telling you,
I feel like he
how
doesn't
old
look
do you
very
want him
good.
to look at 80? And you were like,
82.
"Ah,
82.
I'm
Fantastic.
An ageist.
What does the acronym SHIELD stand for?
Shut the front door.
Question 4. What do the Avengers eat after the Battle of New York in the Avengers?
Cornflakes. I know all
Hot
these
dogs.
things. I am.
Question 5.
a wizard
Name
at
the
this.
6 Infinity Stones in the MCU, and for bonus points, what color are they?
Bashful, sneezy, dopey.
Grumpy.
And
Grumpy.
question 6, correctly
Comet
spell
Cupid.
the name. No cell phones, Brian. Of
Oh,
Thor's
I'm already done.
Thor's hammer. Correctly spell the name of Thor's hammer.
Can I copy off of you?
No, I see. I can't
Which
remember what
hammer?
shield is.
It's
but I
written
know that.
H-A-M-M.
That whole
All right,
thing.
we are gonna go.
Yeah,
We-
that one's bothering me too,
Just
'cause I
did.
The
just-
name
Justin.
of Thor's hammer. The name. All right.
His hammer's called George.
While you guys do that, Hassan and I are gonna
really
do
don't know
this.
what this
We do this every week. We go spinning the racks.
I want to win.
Spin the racks.
Spin the rack, spin that rack.
Out there. Avengers Endgame. What's next for the MCU?
More money.
Shang-Chi!
From QZ.com.
The Eternals.
Avengers Endgame is the end of an era. What's next for Marvel? It isn't simply another box office busting, butt-kicking superhero epic. It's also the end of a cinematic generation. Marvel's Avengers movie was born in 2008 when the company used a B-list character, Iron Man. Let's all remember, he was a B-list character, which he was, to kick off what would become an epic multi-billion-dollar adventure. The saga of Endgame brings it to a close, barring one more film, which is Spider-Man Far From Home, which premieres in July. Phase 4 has been a tightly guarded secret. However, the only thing we do know right now, a Black Widow movie starring the recently deceased Scarlett Johansson is expected to begin filming. Actually, not just Black Widow is deceased.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Scarlett
Scarlett
Jo's okay. Scarlett Jo's okay. Still searching for love, but she's doing okay. James Gunn has been secured as director for a third Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Hoorah.
Spider-Man actor Tom Holland is contracted for another Spider-Man film, and Angelina Jolie has signed on to a movie about the Eternals, a new cast of superheroes. And finally, Marvel is also reportedly planning a film about martial artists master Shang-Chi. And then we obviously are also going to get the X-Men films. I'll do a little poll in the audience. What do you think is going to be the first Fox crossover? I know we talked about Captain Britain being a potential, but aside from that, Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
All right, I think that's the most logical
But
one,
they
right?
said that they didn't want to integrate the Fox characters for about 4 or 5 years. So it's going to be a while before we even see them.
But what will be the first one?
I think that the Fantastic Four is definitely a logical way to integrate them. I'm interested in seeing how they're going to explain mutants having existed and not participating in the MCU. Hey, there's been all these
They were laying
cataclysms
They were in the
the
Morlocks.
whole
They were in
time.
the camp.
Do you think? I mean, do you think it's going to be one of those total reboots in terms of the X-Men
Hope
universe?
so.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
'Cause those
The only
movies
one
are
they have
crap.
to
But the
keep
question
Ryan
is
Reynolds.
Deadpool though? Because Deadpool's going to be in it,
No, they said that
and
they're
it's going to be
keeping-
Ryan Reynolds.
They said they're keeping Ryan Reynolds, but whether they integrate him or not,
Yeah.
because they said they're going to keep him R-rated. You can't
maybe
integrate
that
him
was the
or
whole
not.
purpose of Avengers Endgame. Maybe the whole purpose of Avengers Endgame was simply to
They snapped
explain away
They snapped us into an R-rated universe.
how Deadpool could somehow possibly be the guy. All right. Can we ask that? Can I ask that everyone pass forward their Avengers trivia, and then I will reveal the answers, and then we're gonna go offline and we'll reveal a winner.
That's all right.
It's going in.
Going in. This is it. Final tallies. You guys did. You give me yours.
Yes, I did.
You did.
But
All
I'm
right.
keeping this because it has our
Anybody else? Anybody else? And I will reveal the answers to said questions.
No, I forgot one thing.
Alrighty, real quick. Here we go. The answer to question 1: what movie did Thanos first appear in? The answer, which I'll tell you in 1 second, as soon as I get that
Oh my
on.
God.
The suspense is killing you, right?
don't know.
Well, I do, but I want to show it on screen.
Justice League.
Marvel's The Avengers. That was the first one. He was actually a cameo in that movie. All right, number 2. Aside from Stan Lee, which actors appeared in the most MCU films? The answer was Mr. Robert Downey Jr.
No, Tony Stark.
Well, the actor.
I said
The
Nick
actor.
Fury.
As of Avengers Infinity War, Robert Downey Jr. has appeared in 9 MCU films. After Avengers Endgame, he'll have played Tony Stark 10 times. Samuel L. Jackson was a close second.
That's
With
what we put.
6. Oh boy, not getting your swag here. What does the acronym
We're not.
acronym SHIELD stand for? It is actually Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
Womp womp.
Strategic.
I wrote meh.
What did the Avengers eat after the Battle of New York? I think everybody got that one. I like making people feel okay. Name the 6 Infinity Stones in the MCU, and for bonus points, name the color. The answers to that. There's right. Yes.
You got one.
It is 6 Infinity Stones: Space Blue, Mind Yellow,
That's the one I missed.
Power
Space.
Purple, Time Green, Reality Red, and Soul Orange.
Orange. Yeah. I got everyone but space.
Butchered.
And finally, correctly spell the name of Thor's hammer. It was Mjolnir, MJOLNIR.
That's how we did it, right?
Yeah.
You got it right. You got it.
Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate the audience. We love all this stuff. I want to thank my wonderful guests here and Kelly from Geek Vibes Nation. I always want to thank my cohort in crime here, Mr. Hassan Godwin. And thank you to Funny Business in Nyack, New York. We love you guys. We had a very fun time. And look, Hassan, under an hour. Oh, God, that wasn't